Hello, I'm Ben Young, Editor-in-Chief and Publisher of Georgia Trend magazine. I'd like to welcome you to this year's Georgia Trend 40 Under 40 event. Each year, we pour through hundreds of nominations to choose the best and brightest young Georgians who are balancing their professional careers with giving back to their communities. In lieu of a live event this year, we are having the honorees testify to their own experiences of leadership in Georgia through video. I'd like to thank Dr. William Underwood and Mercer University for sponsoring this year's event. And without any further ado, here are the Georgia Trend 2020 40 Under 40.
My greatest community service accomplishment has been undoubtedly my support of the Military Medical Evacuation Mission Set, or MEDEVAC for short. Number one, as a soldier and an aviator, and number two, as an inventor and an entrepreneur. MEDEVAC is truly one of the Army's no-fail mission sets, and that we are responsible for ensuring that American sons and daughters who are wounded on the battlefield are able to return home safely and with the best medical care possible. As a 67 Juliet, or an aeromedical evacuations officer, I fly an HH-60 Mike Black Hawk helicopter with a crew to include a crew chief and a medic. Generally, we will land the helicopter, bring the patient into the cabin of the aircraft, and depart for the nearest military treatment facility. However, in certain environments, we are unable to land the aircraft. Those include if performing missions over the water, if we are in an area with enemy, or if we are supporting civil authorities in the case of natural disasters, say hurricanes, and can't land the aircraft. In any of those situations, what we will often do is perform a helicopter hoist operation. These hoist operations provide us a significant amount of flexibility, but also have a significant amount of danger and risk involved as well. One of those risks is the risk of spin instability, which can cause a hoisted patient to rotate several times a second. In order to mitigate this, I developed, invented, and put several patent applications on the Stabilizing Aerial Load Utility System, a hoist stabilization system that takes inspiration from the Hubble telescope and other telescopes and satellites, which use reaction wheels to orient themselves in space. My team and I have been very fortunate to receive more than $150,000 in grant funding from the Army, to sign a research and development agreement with the United States Army Aeromedical Research Lab, and to be recognized by the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2019 as a collegiate invention competition finalist. But without a doubt, our greatest success has simply been our ability to support soldiers and to ensure that they return home safely every single time.
Hi. I was obviously thrilled to find out I'd been selected. At the time, I was reporting on the other side of the country, and hearing from Georgia Trend made me miss Georgia even more. It's taken me a really long time to get to this point in my career, and it's both surreal and deeply, deeply gratifying to be honored in this way at a time when journalism and journalists are really more important than ever. I'm proud of the investigative reporting I've done on a number of subjects, including the failed senatorial campaign of Roy Moore in Alabama and the concerning new phenomenon of news deserts around the country. Most of all, though, I'm proud of shining a light on the parts of Georgia and the South that often get ignored. I think I've got to be the first New Yorker staff writer to report on a gubernatorial campaign from the back of a decommissioned funeral limousine in Cordele, Georgia, as I did when Stacey Abrams was running in 2018. I'm also proud of the mentoring I've been able to do for other young journalists, both through the Paideia School, which I attended, as well as through Vox ATL and other local groups. I'm always happy to chat or email with young journalists and encourage folks to reach out. The greatest lesson I've learned, I would say, don't assume that the first dream you have is the dream that you have to follow. Adapt with the world and with your own emerging skill set, which will change over time. Be proactive, but also be patient as you put in the work. Thanks so much.
It is a huge honor and a privilege, and I just am so grateful to the folks who thought that I was deserving of this award, and really can't say enough good things about the people who are being awarded alongside me and folks in previous years. So I'm very honored to be part of this group and to be honored with this award. Up until about 2 years ago, there was no state facilitated program for maternal mental health in Georgia, and it's one of the leading causes of complications around maternal health and infant health. and it's a dire issue in our state and our country. And I'm very proud to have been able to work with many partners, including the Postpartum Support International Georgia chapter, to make that a reality, and the Department of Public Health. In terms of community service, most recently I was able to work on a project and lead my neighbors through a design process for redoing a local park. So we got a grant from Kaboom, which does play spaces, and in our neighborhood at Adair Park in Southwest Atlanta, we worked with the Parks Department to redo a pocket park. So it was just an empty field. There was nothing there, maybe like a picnic table. And now there's a giant four-square court, a chess board with giant chess pieces. People are in that park every day enjoying the butterfly garden and the naturalization that we put in there and all the new features of the park. I would just say surround yourself with good people, whether that's the people on your team or the mentors that you seek out. Don't be afraid to go outside your comfort zone, meet people from other industries, work across the aisle. That's not just a political statement, that's in terms of what people do and their approach to work. So I think it's just really important to find that collaboration wherever you can and welcome those new perspectives into your work by finding those great people.
My name is Curtis Briscoe Jr., and upon finding out that I became Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40, I was extremely excited and honored to be a part of this magazine with other leaders across the state of Georgia, and knowing the impact that past and present nominees have had across the state of Georgia. I know that this is an extreme honor to be able to be amongst many others who were chosen for this. So hearing this, it really made me happy to be able to be chosen amongst other peers across the state. I would say my greatest career accomplishment would be being appointed here as one of Rockdale County's tax assessors and also as the deputy director here serving our citizens in matters of valuation and taxation. It's been a privilege to be able to serve here. I would say my greatest community service accomplishment is having the opportunity to be appointed by the chairman and commission to serve on the task force for the Envision Rockdale, which is the roadmap, so to speak, for our county as far as how our county will operate for the next 5 to 10 years. That opportunity allowed me to connect with citizens and hear what their wants and needs were for our county and how we would operate. So that was an extreme honor to be a part of that. I would share with other professionals under 40 that you are a part of history, and that right now more than ever, you're needed in history to make an impact within your community. There are small things that youth are looking up to you for guidance. This is a time for you to mentor, for you to fill in the gaps within your community and across the state, and that now more than ever, you're needed.
When I learned I'd been named to this year's class, I was completely surprised. Each year I read the list of names and I'm in awe of the individuals who are working and serving across the great state of Georgia to make it such a wonderful place to live and work. I've served 8 years as a county commissioner. I work in financial technology with financial institutions all across the country, and I've had a lot of wonderful opportunities. Each day I get up in competition with myself to be a little better today than I was yesterday, whether that's a better negotiator or working to become a better, more compassionate leader and listener for my team and my community. It's been in being able to build a strong network of individuals with whom I get to work to bring projects to completion for my community, and seeing the positive impact to the daily lives of those around me. Community and community service are hugely important to me. In 2008, I lost my grandmother to breast cancer. And seeing the physical, emotional, and economic toll that had on her and our family, I was left with a desire to help others who were in that fight. And so I got to work with some great people, and in 2009 established the Evie Peters Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization named in honor of my grandmother. We raise funds for folks in Habersham County, my home county, who are in treatment of breast cancer. And that is an organization that I hope will long outlive me and serving this and surrounding communities. As I look back, I realize I laugh a lot at myself. And I try to remember that mostly it's not about me. Every action we take creates a ripple, and I try to look for ways to add value and serve others, which has opened far more doors for me than I could have ever imagined. So if I could share one thing, I'd say laugh a lot and keep moving towards better things.
When I learned I'd been selected as one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40, I was surprised, also very humbled, having followed this process now for the past few years and getting a chance to familiarize myself with the previous honorees. I know that their contributions to both their organizations and communities were immense. So to even be considered in that group of individuals was a very exciting honor. One of the greatest service accomplishments that I feel I've been a part of in my tenure with our company is when I had an opportunity in 2017 to travel to Tijuana, Mexico, and build a home for a family of 4 that when we arrived was living on the side of a muddy hill under a tarp. In a matter of 4 days, we went from a cement foundation to walls, roof, and a place for them to cook, a place for them to sleep, and an area for them to eat as a family. And the reason I think that was so impactful for me, for more than the obvious reasons, was at that time, coincidentally, we were also working on closing on a larger home for our family. And what we felt were important needs for us, by comparison to the very basic needs of others, was a truly eye-opening experience. And it really helped me understand the value of giving back, not only to the local communities, but internationally. And that's something I'm very proud to have been a part of. In my organization, I get an opportunity to work with a lot of younger professionals coming out of school and really starting their careers. And if there's one thing that I always keep in mind, it's that I was that point too, and that between when I started working and where I am today, I've learned countless lessons, both good and bad, both professionally and personally, that have shaped me into the person that I am today, both with my coworkers and my peers, but also outside into my community. And if there's any advice I could give to someone that's striving to either become a 40 Under 40 honoree in the future or is looking to advance their career, take every day as its own, learn from your lessons, your mistakes, and your experiences, and not only apply those to be better tomorrow, but share those experiences with those around you so that they too can enjoy the same success that you're likely to have.
When I learned that I was one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40, I was both surprised and honored. I was especially honored because Georgia Trend honors young professionals who not only excel in their professional lives, but also in the community. I hope to live up to the legacy of those who have received this award before me and continue excelling both professionally and serving my community. I'm extremely proud to have spent my career helping my clients persuasively tell their side of the story in order to resolve and avoid disputes. As a litigator at Kilpatrick Townsend, I specialize in trade secret litigation and in the defense of consumer class actions. My greatest career accomplishments involve obtaining dismissal of class action lawsuits seeking millions of dollars of damages and of obtaining emergency relief, preventing former employees of my clients from using their confidential information or soliciting their customers. I'm proud to learn about these businesses and help them overcome their challenges. My proudest community service accomplishment was my pro bono representation of Estrella Sanchez, a transgender Mexican woman seeking asylum in the United States. When I took on Estrella's case, she was facing imminent deportation. But after 3 years and 3 successful appeals, we finally obtained a grant of her application for asylum and gave her a pathway to citizenship. I hope to continue to use my skills as a litigator to represent non-citizens and others in desperate need of legal assistance. The most important lesson I would share with other young professionals is to always have confidence in yourself and never be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Based on my experience, if you have confidence in yourself, others will believe in you and you can overcome any challenge.
When I first learned about the Georgia Trend Top 40 Under 40, I was completely overwhelmed. I had so much emotion because it was the same day that I found out that the cover for the Augusta magazine, Top 10 and 10, was coming out, of which I am a selectee for that. So that day was just a very beautiful day, a very emotional day for me. My greatest accomplishment for my career has probably been winning the U.S. Women in Nuclear Region 2 Leadership Award back in 2018. That award will forever be special to me because I won that award on the first year anniversary of my mother's death. And so I dedicated that award to her. It's forever important to me in my career at that moment because it gave me so much more to look forward to, even when not expecting the awards and just doing what I love to help others. And also preparing to graduate in December with my second master's for information systems management. It's been a long road, emotional road, but I'm just super excited that I'm now at the finish line and preparing to graduate in December. My greatest community service accomplishment has probably been being a founder of the Savannah Riverside Women in Nuclear chapter at Savannah Riverside in 2015. A group of ladies, we all got together and we're talking about chartering such a chapter at Savannah Riverside. And so we did it, we accomplished it, and it has grown to a major, major organization on site. And I'm just so grateful at how far we've come since 2015. And I'm currently the president of the Savannah Riverside Women in Nuclear. So I'm just super honored and humble to be holding the president position of an organization that I have found.
Hello, Georgia Trend Magazine. I am Dr. Alicia Glover, and when I found out I was one of this year's 2020 Top 40 Under 40, I was so excited and honored to join this esteemed list of individuals from years past and present. One of my greatest career accomplishments has been seeing the need in the community and fulfilling that need through starting my nonprofit, Posh Pack Incorporated. I saw a need for feminine hygiene essentials in schools to help middle and high school girls. And over a 6-month period, that idea went from something that was just in my head to help the community to a full-fledged nonprofit. And I'm really excited about that, and I feel that is my greatest career accomplishment. In terms of community service, using my nonprofit in the wake of COVID and the pandemic is certainly a highlight of my community service, along with my board members, who I couldn't do any of this without. For many nonprofits in COVID-19, we've had many problems and obstacles to overcome with logistics and being contactless, with lack of resources. But I'm happy to say for my nonprofit, Posh Pack Incorporated, we've been able to use our mission and up our efforts to work with local food pantries and civic organizations to make sure that the young girls who need feminine hygiene items most will have access to them. An important piece of advice that I have for professionals under the age of 40 is to learn being comfortable in uncomfortable spaces. So much of what we go through as young professionals deals with self-doubt and fear of whether things will work out, if we will have to face failures in the future. But all of those things give you uncomfortable feelings. And I think some of the best leaders that we have in this country understand the importance of being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So if I had to give advice to someone under the age of 40, that would be my advice.
So when asking me how I felt about learning that I was one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40, I was overjoyed and ecstatic because this is a highly competitive and coveted honor to be chosen to receive. And I know that this has definitely been a highlight for my career. But I believe that my tribe, personally and professionally, probably was almost excited or even more excited than I was to hear the news. I've been fortunate to be chosen to be the Chatham County, Savannah area REACH Nutrition Program Manager. And REACH stands for Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, which is a grant that is overseen and allocated by the Center for Disease Control. So I am empowered to create equitable access to healthy food options as well as influence policies that promote healthier food options, and especially for those who are most vulnerable. And in Savannah, that is the Black community. So my work never seems like work. I never go to work, just like, oh, I'm over this. I see it as my ability to help someone else. And ultimately, my desire is to eradicate chronic illnesses within the Black community. And since being in this role, I was tapped to be the CEO of Ivory Bay Community Development Corporation. And in that particular role, I work to build wealth, generational wealth, in low wealth communities. So both roles work hand in hand because I know, as well as you all know, that health and wealth are tied to one another. So these roles basically complement each other because they work to power low wealth households to create generational wealth while translating and transforming their relationships with their eating habits.
When I learned that I was one of Georgia Trend's 2020 40 Under 40, I was ecstatic. As a teacher, I have the opportunity to bring out the artistic talents of my students. And to be recognized for helping young people shape their talents, well, it's an honor. The arts play a huge role in child and youth development, and receiving this honor highlights not just the work that I do, but the role of arts in education. One of my greatest community accomplishments happened serendipitously. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit its first peak and shelter-in-place orders closed our schools, we knew we had to get creative to stay connected to our students. Participation for e-learning was inconsistent, and I decided to reach out to my students through social media. I knew parents were very much connected to Facebook, and so I started an art page with hopes of keeping students engaged. I went live several times for the week, and I posted many fun activities as a bonus. And I started receiving emails and photographs of artwork and comments and followers from other zoned schools, and then it led on to other states. And then it reached countries like Trinidad and Canada and Macau and China and Switzerland even. And I had accomplished really more than what I set out to do with online teaching. And social media really provided a much needed platform for arts education, and it placed Bibb County Schools art program in the spotlight where Macon, Georgia students were able to showcase their talents. Just remember, always stay humble, and remember that actions are an extension of your thoughts. And kids, just like adults, they are often led by emotion. And keeping that in mind when dealing with people will take you down roads paved with success. Power and success aren't measured by the number of people you leave behind. Its true measure is how many you can empower along the way.
And I was so excited when I heard that I was selected as one of Georgia Trend's 2020 40 Under 40. To be in such great company as my fellow recipients is truly humbling and a credit to the strength of the community that we have here in Milledgeville. My greatest career accomplishment has been winning the 2019 Georgia Public Librarian of the Year Award. It was the culmination of a difficult year for my library system and meant a lot to me and to the library as a whole, both emotionally and professionally. It really solidified for me the importance of our library's role in our community. You see, rural public libraries like ours provide a variety of services, including broadband internet, incubation for businesses, teaching coding classes, preserving local history, and in general providing access to a world beyond the limits of the everyday. So we are a fundamental part of the social fabric of our communities, and this award really drives home the fact that when our community can unite together like they did to save our library, despite all our many differences, that unification helps preserve and celebrate something truly fundamental to American democracy. And that meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to our community as well. My greatest community service accomplishment, so I have the honor of working in a profession that allows me to serve the community every day, and that work is tremendously rewarding. From navigating a difficult year of funding for our library seemed to Dell, to exploring new ways of delivering broadband to our rural community, to assisting patrons who have mental health issues, or ask our staff for help because they're contemplating suicide. Every day presents a new challenge and a new opportunity to serve. But I believe my most impactful accomplishment has been serving Georgia libraries and their patrons as chair of a statewide library advisory committee during the current COVID-19 crisis. Our committee was tasked with developing a usable plan for all of Georgia public libraries on how to reopen and conduct services safely during the pandemic. We relied on guidance from the CDC and the White House to craft a comprehensive plan that's been used not only here in Georgia, but also in several states around the country.
It's an honor and a privilege, really, to be part of this year's Georgia 40 Under 40. So far in my career, I'm most proud of my work with Chattahoochee Riverkeeper as the Middle Chattahoochee Director for the organization, working out of LaGrange and throughout the West Georgia and East Alabama region, downstream from Atlanta to Columbus, and working with all the communities and the people here who depend on the Chattahoochee River, whether it's for drinking water. And also, I'm really proud of my work with the West Point Lake Floating Classroom program, which is we've got a big boat out on the lake that we take school groups, community groups out on. So far, since 2015, we've served nearly 17,000 students, teachers, and adults, bringing them out on the lake to experience it for themselves, and also just to share how important it is, our work to protect and preserve the river, which is our source of water. So that's what I'm most proud of so far in my career. So in terms of sharing advice with other young professionals, I would say find a place to make your home. I know for me, I grew up in Atlanta, but moved to LaGrange, Georgia, to go to college, and I've stayed here in the community since. And I've been fortunate to find work with Chattahoochee Riverkeeper, but also getting to pursue other projects with photography and film and music even. And it's been really special how people here in this smaller community have really helped me and they've helped others. And so I would just encourage folks to find a place. It doesn't have to be a big city. It can be a smaller town, a little city, wherever it is, but find a home and make the most of it.
I'm honored and humbled to receive the Georgia Trends 40 Under 40 award. I'm relatively new to Atlanta, and to be recognized as a leader, a young leader in the city, which I now call home, is just a very great thing for me, and I appreciate Georgia Trends magazine for providing me this award. I'm deeply humbled and honored by it. My greatest career accomplishment is my current role as president and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Metro Atlanta. Big Brothers Big Sisters is all about mentoring and helping young people reach their full potential. I was a young person that made some bad decisions, ended up in jail at the age of 17, and through mentorship, through my coach, Steve Maynard, who was a mentor to me, I was able to navigate that situation, get out of jail, go to college, and do all the different things that I've been able to accomplish in my career. And that was all through mentorship, and that's what we are all about at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I'm honored to be a part of an organization that is about helping young people reach their full potential all throughout Atlanta. And I would consider that my biggest career accomplishment. I've been in service my whole entire career. I left college at the age of 19. My parents thought I was crazy, but I wanted to give back and help young people. I was thinking about the young men that I met when I was in jail, and their stories continue to stay with me, and they stay with me to this day. And that is what encouraged me to say, you know what, I want to go into doing this work. I want to become a social entrepreneur. So I decided to leave college, and I went up to DC, and I went headfirst into service work, doing work all around the country. And I've been here ever since. I finished my degree at University of Maryland, and I've done certificate programs in other colleges, Harvard and NYU and Babson University. I tell young people all the time to get comfortable with their stories. I've been on this video telling you deep things about myself, and too often people don't want to live in their truth. And I encourage people to tell their story. Others can learn from it. It's your superpower. You can help other people. No one's perfect. We've all had different stories. We've all made bad decisions. But your story is what can help somebody else feel comfortable in their own skin. And through that story, you can make change. So I encourage all young professionals to get comfortable with their story, share it, and help young people in particular learn from it. Again, thank you for this honor.
I was so honored and humbled to be selected as one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40 this year. And it came at an interesting time. 2020 has been full of uncertainty. It was a big lift for me and also for the whole Secure Record Solutions team. We've been working quietly in our corner of the state in Thomasville for 17 years, and we're all just so honored to be up here and recognized with so many leaders from across the state. 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to join my father in business. My greatest accomplishment since that time was managing a big pivot that would take the legacy business and the jobs it had created in my hometown of Thomasville into the next generation. You see, when my father started the business 17 years ago, it was primarily focused on storing hard copy records. And as you can imagine, the need for that's changed a lot over the years. Well, since that time, we've launched 5 new service lines. Our revenue has tripled, and along with it, the number of jobs that our company supports. We've moved from serving 11 counties in Southwest Georgia with hard copy record storage to 48 states, leading digitization initiatives for healthcare, government, and large businesses. And recently, we expanded our shredding territory to 150 miles north of Thomasville. We're very proud of what we've accomplished, and more importantly, the future is bright. I've become involved in our local Chamber of Commerce as well as the State Chamber of Commerce because I care about our local economy. In fact, I have a mission that we shouldn't just look to add jobs or capital investment. We should actually curate the economy to look for the best businesses that represent our area and help them to be successful, and then go recruit other businesses like them. But I think it goes beyond economy, and we have to also take into account ecology. Our greatest natural resource in Southwest Georgia are the wild pine tree savanna that surrounds us, 400,000 acres of privately held land, and it's under threat. Over time, we're losing it to agriculture, an important economic activity, but it destroys a natural element of what makes us unique, and so does business growth. The conversation needs to focus on the marriage of our economy and our ecology so that we don't give up our legacy in making progress.
Hello everyone, my name is Deborah Lamb and I am humbled and honored to be part of Georgia Trends 40 Under 40 this year. When I first found out about this, I had a mix of emotions ranging from surprise, shock to just extremely humbled and honored to be part of this esteemed group. My career and community accomplishments are still in development in many cases, but I think fundamentally I am working on and continue to be working on empowering communities. And in the current state, it is through the intersection of technology, data analytics, and public policy. So how best to utilize these tools so that communities across the state can be empowered into making better decisions that will service themselves and their constituents, as well as ensuring that they have the right technologies and services that can help them with that process. The most important lesson that I would have for someone who is under 40 is something that might be a little bit surprising, because I think for anyone who is early in their career or early in their development journey is to really think about pacing and forgiving yourself. You have such a long road ahead, and there will be so many expected and unexpected challenges and opportunities, and it's important to savor those moments and learn how to deal with them as much as appreciate them along the way, and surround yourself with a really important group of people that will always speak truth to you and be honest with you.
When I first learned about my nomination for Georgia Trends 40 Under 40, I literally screamed and ran all over the house. And after I finally gained my composure and was able to speak audible words again, the first person I told was, of course, my mom. And at that moment, I'm sure she understood why I was just so excited and couldn't even say words to express my happiness and excitement. To be recognized as one of 40 individuals from across the state of Georgia is truly an honor. It has always been my mission to give back to the community and also just assist others whenever I could. And this award is just proof that even one individual can make a positive impact in society. To say that I've had a unique career and community service experience so far is an understatement, but one of my fondest moments will forever be working for Governor Nathan Deal. It was something about working under the gold dome that gave me a sense of fulfillment, and I was always excited to greet Governor and Mrs. Deal, who were always welcoming of everyone no matter where you came from or who you were. Their sense of commitment to the state of Georgia just shows why public service is important, and that's a trait I carry over today with Black Women Moguls. Giving back to the community and volunteering has been ingrained in me since my days as a Girl Scout, and that value only intensified when I matriculated at Clark Atlanta University, whose motto is Culture for Service. However, I still feel that I have not reached that pinnacle of community service because I feel there is so much more that we can do to support the community. As we have seen many times, there are people who are in need, and that has only heightened since COVID-19. So I view my public service as a continuum of the values instilled in me as a child and at Clark Atlanta University. My advice to any professional under the age of 40 is that delayed does not mean denied. I know when we're experiencing the challenges of life, we question if we're on the right path or wonder when our defining moment will come. However, life is an evolution, not a destination. When we are following our purpose and with patience and persistence, it is worth the journey.
Honestly, I was a bit shocked. I also felt very humbled to be named as an award winner. I've reviewed some folks that have won it in the past and was really honored to be named Georgia Trends 40 Under 40. Personally, I feel like one of the best feelings is overcoming adversity. And I was hired into my current position after previous failed leadership. Lots of questions surrounded the longevity of the hospital. And in 1 year's time, really the team came together and aligned itself to a common set of goals and yielded a very profitable year. And the highlight of the year was at the end of the year, this past March, receiving a quality award for patient care, patient satisfaction, and other publicly reported metrics. We were one of 250 hospitals to actually get that. So that was quite an honor. So being in the mental health field, mental health education for me is so especially important, especially today. In 2013, we started a community forum to advise the public on a variety of mental health topics. We started around 50 people, with 50 people participants, and it actually grew to 500 last year. So we're very proud of that. So this is personal and professional worlds. Be intentional. Number one, build relationships, and at the end, have fun and enjoy what you're doing. Thank you for this opportunity, and have a great day.
I was simply speechless and honored to have been selected. This is clearly one of the most significant achievements of my professional career. Receiving this accolade made every late night that I've spent preparing for meetings, learning new skills, stepping out of my comfort zone to take on new challenges well worth it. The feeling that you get knowing that your hard work and perseverance through the years has finally paid off is priceless. As a special process lead for the quality department, my job entails developing and implementing process improvement projects. In order to achieve an optimal level of performance, a series of issues would need to be addressed. To address these issues, I felt it was important to educate our workforce on the issues and how they occur. To drive the message home, I felt a culture change was needed. I created learning modules for wage and salary personnel, and I also created an auditing program to monitor the issues and drive quick corrective actions. Through the execution of this effort, We have seen great improvements in our metrics, and our workforce is now more knowledgeable about how they can prevent these issues from reoccurrence in the future. With the support of my peers from various locations and funding from our executive sponsor, we were able to conduct our first Signature STEM event in the summer of 2019. We exposed over 100 3rd through 5th grade students to STEM and communities where we live and work. We also held a parent workshop to equip parents with the resources to continue to foster their child's newfound passion for STEM at home. The outpour of appreciation and feedback that we received from our parents, that confirmed that we were doing the right thing at the right time to make a positive impact on our communities.
When I first learned that I had been selected as one of Georgia Trend's 2020 40 under 40 candidates, I was in shock. My first thought was, check that email, make sure that's to you. I had no idea anyone had nominated me, and that's the first thing I did. I checked to see, is this really to me? And upon realizing, oh my goodness, this is, I thought, somebody knows what we're doing down here in Southwest Georgia to combat rape and sexual assault. Someone knows the work that we as advocates are putting in for our most vulnerable victims. And I couldn't be more proud. My greatest career accomplishment is an ongoing accomplishment. When people come to our center, they are in their most vulnerable state. We see men, women, and children within 72 hours of their victimization. We operate 24/7. And when people first come to us, they have to be interviewed. They have to talk about the most intimate parts of their bodies, the trauma that they have endured. They receive a free forensic medical exam. And when they leave here, they know that they have someone willing to fight for them and to advocate for them so they can get back to feeling safe in their own skin. When I see some of our past victims out in the world and see that they've become Marines, business owners, college graduates, police officers, victim advocates, there can't be any other greater accomplishment than that. So pave your own way, do what you love, and if there is a cause that you believe in, never stop talking even if they're not listening. Because if it's worth it, you will find a way.
I was incredibly humbled to be recognized as one of Georgia Trend's 40 under 40. It's a wonderful recognition, and I know that there are a lot of people around the state doing great work right now. I just hope that we can all continue to do so and be inspired by these kinds of recognitions. My greatest career achievements this year have been twofold. On the one hand, I'm incredibly proud of the work we've done with the DeKalb State Court. Our team, Division 6, has gone above and beyond despite this pandemic and has worked tirelessly despite the demands of the Judicial Emergency Order. On the other hand, the Georgia Latino Law Foundation has been an incredible opportunity for us to support and engage the Latino legal community. Latino law students all over the state have been supported and encouraged despite all of the monumental obstacles that we've faced along this year. I'm incredibly proud of the work we've done with them. I'm incredibly proud of the Leadership Academy and of our fellowship program, which once again gave out fellowships to Latino law students this summer to support their work despite the pandemic. My community service work has been a blessing to me this past year. I've served on various boards around town, that have given me the opportunity to have a seat at the table. I served as the only Latina on the Board of Governors of the State Bar of Georgia. And as part of my service there, I've been serving on the Access to Justice Committee. The biggest lesson I have learned is to be authentic, be intentional, and be kind. Be authentic, be who you are. Do the things that drive you. Be intentional. Have a purpose for the things that you do. And it's okay if that purpose changes, but always work with a purpose in mind. And be kind. Remember that everyone is going through their own journey, and everyone has a space to fill in this world. At the end of the day, when we are authentic, intentional, and kind, we can accomplish many things. All of us won't accomplish the same thing, but that's okay.
When I learned I was one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40, I felt deeply honored. I've had the privilege to meet and interact with strong and passionate leaders from around our great state, and I feel honored to be counted among them. I would love to meet all of my fellow honorees in person, but I understand it's not possible given the circumstances. I hope to meet all of you in the future though, and please feel free to reach out if you're ever in Dalton, Georgia. In 2017, I moved into the role of Director of Community Outreach and Corporate Giving at Shaw Industries. Being an industrial engineer by training, go Jackets, I developed and implemented a new community grant process to ensure we were creating a level playing field for all of our nonprofit partners while supporting the communities in which our associates live and work. Part of Shaw's vision is creating a better future for our communities, and through our grants program, I've had the opportunity to work with many nonprofits on projects making a direct impact on our community. My greatest community service accomplishment is helping to build a community amphitheater in downtown Dalton. In 2016, I recruited and led a diverse team representing Dalton in the Thriving Communities Program, a 10-month community accelerator program sponsored by Thrive 2055, a 16-county tri-state region surrounding Chattanooga, Tennessee. Our team included members from a diverse set of stakeholders across our community, from government and nonprofits to the arts and industry. We were challenged to imagine how might we utilize arts and culture to create community vibrancy and economic growth through an intensive design thinking process. Through this process, our team envisioned a community gathering space in the heart of downtown Dalton. We successfully secured a $20,000 grant from the Lyndhurst Foundation for the project, which inspired a $1 million grant from a local philanthropist and led to Burr Performing Arts Park and Amphitheater in downtown Dalton. Since its completion, Burr Park has hosted 2 seasons of summer concert series, attracting up to 1,000 people every Friday night to our downtown, among other public and private events. It has truly become a central gathering place for our downtown.
When I learned I was one of Georgia Trend's 2020 40 Under 40 award winners, I was very honored and humbled, and I almost felt a sense of relief, not because I was expecting to have such an award, but just because I felt like being honored to show that you're doing something right with such a prestigious award is very humbling. And I was proud too. It's a lot of work to be able to be a mom and be a wife and be a deputy city manager and attorney, so I was excited that I was recognized for that. My greatest career accomplishment, I feel like you have to say, is your last promotion or the biggest title you may have been bestowed. So I would have to say deputy city manager, but honestly, that's not what sticks out. What sticks out to me is when I was named the prosecutor for the City of Griffin's Municipal Court. I was not an employee of the city at that time, but had served on a task force with some police officers and code enforcement officers, and the police chief at that time took notice to my abilities in that arena. And so he asked if I would put in my name to be appointed as the prosecutor. And for someone to come to you and actually ask for you to do something like that, and then to have 7 commissioners say, yes, we'd like to see her do that, it was really rewarding to me and something that I felt like I learned a lot from. It made me a better attorney, it made me a better public speaker, and it made me a better person. My greatest community service accomplishment was mentoring young girls at my church here in town. And one of them recently was at a wedding with me, and she said, Jessica, when when I was in your Bible study class, I just wanted to be like you, and you're still my biggest role model. And I thought that was a huge thing for her to say, and I just love that I'm still able to keep up with her and know that you can make an impact on a young girl's life that can go further than just the 1 hour you have with them on Wednesdays. I think a lot of times when you're younger in a professional field or a skilled field or any kind of trade field, you may be questioned about your abilities or your knowledge or your expertise just because you're young. And I think you really need to know your worth. Know yourself, be confident in what you're doing, be positive about what you're doing, and take chances to take risks that what you're going to say is correct, and take risks with your future, knowing that you have the ability to do what you've set out for. And if that's a career change in the middle of it, or if it's something that you never thought you would be doing, go for it, because know that you're worth it and you're valuable, and that you have a great impact on what you can do in your future and the future of others around you.
When I received the word that I received this incredible honor with my brother, it was amazing. And I feel that it was such an amazing opportunity that they gave to us. And congratulations to all the other nominees as well. My greatest career accomplishment will be crossing the finish line at the 2018 Ironman World Championship with my older brother, Michael Peets.
I think our greatest community service accomplishment has been sharing the experience of endurance sports with so many in the disabled community. Most recently this year, we had 60 wheelchair athletes participate in the Atlanta Publix half marathon and sharing the experience of inclusion in sports. And it's just really special that we can continue to share that experience with so many. No matter what's going on, I would always tell you, or even tell myself 10 years ago, to just keep going. There's going to be a lot of bumps along the road, and there's going to be success and failure. And you need to be able to keep going through all of that, because just around the corner might be that big success, that big breakthrough. If Kyle and I hadn't kept going, I don't know that we would have ever finished the Ironman World Championships, let alone continue to be able to serve the people that we serve. So always keep going.
I was extremely humbled and filled with gratitude when I learned that I would be a 2020 recipient of the Georgia Trend 40 Under 40 designation. While I don't do any of the work that I do for recognition or accolades, it's always refreshing and inspiring to receive a kudos, a high five, or congrats or good job from your peers. So if nothing else, I'm inspired to continue the necessary work that I'm doing in my community. Thanks for recognizing my work. My greatest career achievement would be starting Fountain City Slam. I'm an artist, I'm a business professional, I'm a writer, a teaching artist. I do a lot of different things. Fountain City Slam was the first time that I was able to clump all of my gifts into one thing to affect positive change in my community. I was able to use my gifts and years of teaching experience to provide a platform for young people to not only realize their voices, but to use their voices to be better people and inspire change in their community. A big benchmark of all of the lessons that we teach at Fountain City is, how can you be the service to your community? As an artist, your duty is to reflect the times. Your duty is also to serve your community. How can you use your gifts to serve your community? So nearly 10 years now, I've had a front row seat of watching young people use their gifts to inspire, to better, and to empower their communities. Take care of yourself. Make time for yourself. Self-care is best care. Put yourself first. I know we are very busy. I know we are in crazy, crazy times, but know that while you may feel you have to be everything to everybody, make sure that you are something to yourself. make sure that you are putting yourself first. And I don't care if that looks like a cup of tea, a walk or jog in the morning, listening to your favorite podcast. Make sure you find joy, because ultimately, we want to keep you around. We want you healthy. We need you here. We appreciate you. You are enough. Take care of yourself.
Hello, I'm Sarah Primrose, and I'm an associate at King & Spalding. It is an honor to be recognized for my community involvement. I feel very fortunate, and I was really excited to learn that I had been selected. I'm really proud of my career path so far, and of the work that I do for my clients on a daily basis. After law school, I was fortunate to serve as a law clerk for 2 federal judges. I love the process of researching legal issues and helping to draft court opinions, which not only resolve the current dispute, but also may be used in future cases as precedent. At King & Spalding, I'm able to work directly with clients to resolve their legal issues. I enjoy crafting solutions that are unique to the client's needs, taking into consideration their long-term business goals and other practical considerations. I love advocating and negotiating on my clients' behalf. I'm very proud of the work that I have done through the Junior League of Atlanta's partnership with Wellsprings Living. Wellsprings provides a unique refuge for victims of sex trafficking. I enjoy volunteering directly with the young women. I've helped plan a number of fun events, such as gingerbread house decorating, cooking lessons, and arts and crafts. I first became interested in the work that Wellsprings does as a law student. I published an article on the topic of sex trafficking and the legislative efforts to help victims, but I knew I wanted to do something more hands-on. The Junior League and Wellsprings have afforded me that opportunity. At King & Spalding, I've been lucky enough to work on a number of related pro bono projects. You can really turn anything into a learning opportunity. For example, I've learned so much from the young women at Wellsprings. I've become a better listener and thoughtful advocate. Additionally, I've developed my leadership abilities as a United Way Young Professionals Board member. I utilize the skills I've advanced through my community efforts every day as an attorney. It is so important to never stop learning and evolving.
Well, hello, my name is Mitch Robinson, and I'm an attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm overjoyed to receive Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40 award. I will tell you, obviously, with any recognition, you appreciate that recognition, but with any recognition, there comes a great deal of responsibility. And I must admit that that responsibility right now in our country is heavy for me, because in accepting this recognition, I also accept the reality that I'm no different than many of the young Black men and women who are losing their lives for no reason on a daily basis. I'm also mindful of the fact that I am no different than many of the men and women who have been incarcerated unjustly, and that I am no different than any person and any young person that deserves an adequate education. And so while I accept this award and I am thankful, I'm also mindful of the fact that any recognition comes with great responsibility. So there's 3 things that have been vital to me as a young professional and have been very important to me that I would advise any young professional who's under 40 that's striving in their career to follow. The first is persistence. The second is mentorship and being able to mentor and also be mentored. And the third is intention. The first, persistence. Persistence is really just an extension of faith. One of the most important mentors in my life is Judge W. Lewis Sands, who's a federal judge in the Middle District of Georgia. And he always has this quote, which is, why would you ever be pessimistic? And to me, that leads to persistence. On the worst days, I'm reminded that I need to keep pushing. On the best days, I'm reminded that I need to keep pushing because, frankly, being an optimist is all we have. Why would you be anything different? And so I think your energy is important. Second is mentorship. You have to be able to receive mentors, and you also have to be able to give mentorship back the same way. And then lastly, it's intention. You have to be intentional with your career. You have to be intentional with your relationships. and you have to be intentional about how you live your life.
One of my greatest career accomplishments was serving as the project manager for a runway extension and rehabilitation project at the Washington Wilkes County Airport located in Washington, Georgia. I served as a trusted advisor, fighting for the goals and success of the airport every step of the way. The funding for this project came out of an announcement from Governor Deal requiring a short lead time to design and bid plans and come up with a 25% local match. I used innovative design techniques and creative funding approaches to get my client the best outcomes. This project included the design and construction of a 1,000-foot runway extension, installation of a new LED runway edge lighting system, and an overlay rehabilitation of the entire runway. The runway is now over 5,000 feet in length, allowing the airport to accept air traffic for the Masters Golf Tournament, aiding the growth of economic development in the community. By fighting for the needs of my client, this once small rural airport now has the smoothest runway in Georgia and will be a year-round home for business aircraft. One of my greatest community service achievements is my involvement in the puppy raiser program through Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind. As a puppy raiser, I played a vital role in the development of future assistance dogs by taking home an 8-week-old puppy, caring for it, socializing, and training it until it was between 14 and 18 months old and ready for certified training. In a span of 5 years, I raised 3 dogs to become successful leaders in assistance and explosive detection. The most valuable lesson I would share with other professionals under 40 is that your ideas matter. I am fortunate to work in a place where my thoughts and ideas are valued. That has taught me that my thoughts and ideas are valuable.
I'm extremely honored and grateful to be recognized as one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40 and acknowledge this would not be possible without the foundation of faith and family that my parents instilled in me and my educational experiences to include me choosing marketing because of my high school teacher, Mr. Lindsay, and then sports marketing through inspiration from my college professor, Dr. Ingram. I was afforded a job opportunity by Mr. Morpeth and Mr. Russmeyer to practice marketing and learn best business practices while attending Columbus State University. I have been surrounded by mentors who believed in me and encouraged me every step of the way. I'm thankful that they saw potential and allowed me to dream big. Within my 16 years with the Columbus Sports Council, I've been fortunate to work with some of the brightest and hardest working individuals you could imagine. We have an amazing team to include our staff, board, volunteers, partners throughout the city and state, and our amazing clients. It is my passion to serve this community and represent such an amazing organization. My love for people and seeing our facilities come to life with memories in the making is what motivates me to push harder. There are so many events that we have hosted that I'm incredibly proud of, but to date, one of the greatest accomplishments in my time has been the capital campaign project to renovate South Common Softball Complex that hosts numerous events and brings a significant economic impact to our community annually. We successfully completed our first phase of renovations prior to hosting the USA Softball International Cup last summer. The week concluded with placing medals on Team USA, who will represent our nation in 2021 for the Tokyo Olympic Games. It was a moment I will never forget, which also brought back so many wonderful memories from 1996 when our city hosted the first ever Olympic softball games. The most important lesson I would share with professionals under 40 is not to compare your path to others. We are all wonderfully and uniquely made and have a purpose. Enjoy the roller coaster and opportunities to grow along the way. Be authentic and never take time or people for granted.
And it is such an honor and a privilege to be named one of Georgia Trend Magazine's top 40 under 40. One of my highlights in my career has been being named by Governor Brian Kemp in 2019 as the chairman of the Georgia Professional Standards Commission. It is such an honor and a privilege to serve the people of the great state of Georgia, to represent teachers, higher ed institutions all over the great state, and to serve in this capacity has certainly been an honor. In all of my years in public service, it has been an honor to serve in many capacities with community service, and I've certainly valued every community service project that I've been a part of, but one that has really touched my heart over the last several years, my wife and I have taken part in a community drive that starts at the beginning of every school year, where we collect supplies and we package packets for parents who need school supplies, clothing, food items, and help to get their school year started off right. And it is organized by our Family Connections coordinator and many other community service members in our community. And it's such an honor to be a part of such an outstanding organization. Throughout my career in leadership, I've learned a lot of great lessons. And one that I would like to share with you today is that the key to effective leadership is building positive relationships. You know, people aren't going to follow leaders that they don't respect and that they don't like. And it's important to build key relationships and build positive relationships that is going to help us be successful in our careers. And that's one of the lessons that I've learned, in helping to build positive relationships is very important in leadership and in the classroom. Because one of the things that was told to me early on in my career was that it's very important to know that kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And building those relationships is great in helping to change the life of not only a child in the classroom, but in people that you're working with in the career field.
So I am really, really excited to be here with you virtually today. And I was absolutely over the moon when I learned about the fact that I had won the 2020 40 under 40 along with tons of amazing other folks. I remember when I started Root, there was a lot of skepticism among some of the folks that I knew. Would I be able to make a living? Did other people care about this? All that kind of stuff. And here we are just 2 years later, and I'm not only making a living, but I'm also winning awards, which is incredible. So I think this is a testament to how much more we value both the history of our food and our knowledge of how to make it than we did maybe even 10 or 15 years ago. But honestly, the thing I'm probably most proud of is starting Root, because in that moment I was signaling to myself that I was investing in myself and in my priorities. And that was a way to show that I believed that what I felt was important and worth knowing was something others felt was important and worth knowing too. So starting Root opened the door for me to really deep dive into all of these food spaces and community spaces that I had wanted to be a part of, and felt like there was a disconnect between how I would get there and where I was. And so this allowed not only my business to blossom, of course, but also gave me all of these other cool experiences in tandem with that. For example, I'm a food writer. I have an agent, which is incredible. And I am also coming out with a book next year. So all these cool things happened just because I decided to start this business and invest in myself. For me, believing in yourself means not only having dreams, but it also means trusting yourself and your wisdom to bring those dreams to light, and believing that you and the vision that you have are both really valuable and worth believing in, right? And being willing to throw your work behind that belief. Self-care is also a really critical part of this. If we're grinding 24/7, we rob ourselves of living a complete life, but we also rob our work of the energy we need to help it reach its full potential.
First learned that I was one of Georgia Trend's 40 under 40, my initial state was actually shock. When I got the email, I actually read very closely to the email to make sure that was actually my name on the communication. But I think after the initial shock wore off, my first step was actually to call my mom and to give her the news. And so to me, that was a lot of excitement to be able to share such an amazing privilege with her, especially because my mom has been one of my biggest cheerleaders. And so that was really exciting. My greatest career accomplishment actually came late last year. I had the distinct pleasure of joining Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms as well as Fire Chief Randall Slaughter in supporting the city when they announced that our City of Atlanta firefighters would be receiving a historic pay raise. And after working for several months on that project to support our firefighters, it was a distinct honor and pleasure to be part of something where we knew for the first time publicly we were giving thanks and honoring our firefighters who so selflessly give of themselves each and every day. So for me, that was the one time that I felt like I was actually paying it forward for them. My greatest community service accomplishment was a very unique opportunity where in 2018, Junior League of Atlanta elected its second African-American president, Carla Smith. And as part of her team, I joined as co-chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee to lead all D&I initiatives for the league. And for me, that was really special. It was the first time where I got to align my personal beliefs with an organization that I truly believed in and supported for many years. And so to actually honestly have an open and honest conversation about diversity and inclusion and what that meant to a league that had existed over 100 years with only 2 Black presidents was just really unique and special to me. And so for me, that's been really the one highlight of my giving back opportunity to the community. So for other professionals under 40, I would say, stop overthinking it. Get out of your headspace. You've done a lot to this point. I would say enjoy each and every milestone that you have had up until this point and just enjoy it and live life, but stop overthinking it.
Hey guys, this is Alan Soto. I'm so honored to be a part of Georgia Trends 2020 40 under 40. Honestly, when I found out that I had been selected, it was just such a humbling experience to be included with a group of such ambitious, successful, community-driven individuals. So, my greatest career accomplishment has definitely been just starting this organization and being able to have the organizations embody my values, my faith, my priority on family, and the way we run our organizations as a family. It's really been an awe-invoking moment to be able to see that you can do things as yourself, you can be authentic, you can live your values, and you can still be successful and be well received by the community. One of the things that our organization has been able to do is a lot of different community service. We've really helped on targeting generational poverty, creating a lot of financial literacy programs within our organization for our teams, helping families with their children to help change their family trees, change individuals, change families, and some of our businesses help individuals with developmental disabilities, and that has really been something where I go to sleep at night every day feeling good about what I did. I know our team does as well, because we're able to serve individuals that are usually cast aside by society in a lot of cases. So that's been something very rewarding for all of us, and definitely trumps any financial rewards that we get. It's just being able to help people, because that's the whole reason we're in business, is to make other people's lives better. Something important, an important lesson that I would want to share with somebody, a professional under 40, I'd say just be yourself. Be yourself, be authentic. There's too many people trying to be different and conform to society, that authenticity is something that's really rare today, and people gravitate towards somebody who's really being themselves. And just remember that in business, if you want to get what you want, you can do that by helping people get what they want. So always be serving, always be paying it forward.
I was incredibly humbled and excited to learn that I was selected as one of Georgia Trend's 40 under 40. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to stand alongside such a diverse and accomplished group of leaders, to not only share our accomplishments, but also learn from the accomplishments of each other and continue to support one another as we advance in our careers and our community. While leading community impact programs and investments for Google, I had the opportunity to build, launch, and support programs that created inclusive and resilient communities by bridging the digital divide, increasing digital literacy, and promoting academic disciplines in STEM-related fields to underrepresented populations. From this work came the launch of the Connect Home initiative, which had a goal of bringing high-speed internet connections to over 275 million families living in public and affordable housing across the country. Additionally, we launched the Google Fiber Digital Inclusion Fellowship Program, which was the first fellowship program in history targeted at reducing the digital divide by bringing digital literacy skills and offerings to millions of residents in partnership with local nonprofit organizations. And finally, bringing complementary internet connections and training opportunities via our Community Connections program to local community centers, libraries, and nonprofits was an incredibly rewarding result of this work. As we've seen over the past 8 months, access to technology and digital literacy skills are critical for our communities to continue to thrive in any setting, particularly a global pandemic. So I attribute these accomplishments as some of the greatest contributions of my career. Early in my career, I saw a need for greater professional development, mentorship, and social networking opportunities for young nonprofit professionals in my city. I co-founded the Young Nonprofit Professionals Network of Atlanta and subsequently created playbooks for the formation of YNPN chapters across the country, resulting in what is now a national network of 46 chapters representing over 50,000 emerging nonprofit leaders. The most important leadership lesson that I would share with other professionals under 40 is that leadership isn't a position, it's a process. It's something that requires constant and consistent development, and you have to be committed to learning and growing in order to become the best leader possible every single day.
I am truly honored to be recognized this year as a part of Georgia Trends 40 Under 40 for 2020. Thank you so much to everyone that nominated me for this award, and also to the staff and administration at Georgia Trend for identifying fun and creative ways for us to be recognized this year, while also making sure that we're all safe and at home during COVID-19. So thank you for that. I really appreciate just everything about being a part of this process. One of my greatest professional accomplishments is the dynamic work that I get to do every day at Wellstar Health System. Wellstar Health System is one of the largest integrated healthcare systems in the state of Georgia. And there I am happy to serve as the executive director of our Center for Health Equity and also our community health department. It is in this work that my passion gets to come to life, to be able to take strategy, my love of community, and also my faith, and be able to operationalize system-wide strategies that are looking to address priority health needs, health inequities, and the disparities that are a result of those inequities. And what that looks like on a day-to-day basis is being able to show up, for instance, during COVID, to increase testing accessibility in Black and Latinx communities that may not have access to COVID testing for a variety of reasons. And what that looks like is also one of my largest community service accomplishments, which was establishing Wellstar's first day of service, which will continue annually and only continue to grow. The Wellstar Day of Service focuses on food insecurity and healthy food access. For a lot of our community members, we see that knowing where maybe their next meal is going to come from, or not having access to healthy food, fresh fruits and produce, or healthy shelf-stable items is a challenge that all of our communities are seeing, even more so during COVID. And so our day of service was not just about popping in for a day, but it's really to be able to show our team members a pathway or avenues where they can maybe return on their own with their families to be able to really support the food access ecosystem in the state of Georgia.
It's a very nice recognition. It's very humbling to be recognized by a publication like Georgia Trends. They've been the state's leading business magazine for over 30 years. I've been fortunate enough to have been a part of a lot of great organizations here in Savannah over the years, and I'm proud of my time with each of them. However, I'm particularly excited about the current workforce development initiatives that we're just getting started on. We've got a great opportunity to teach our children that construction is a viable way to economic freedom, and it's our goal to help educate them on the opportunities in front of them. Professionally, my biggest accomplishment is helping to improve Savannah through all the great organizations that we're fortunate enough to call our clients. Whether it's nonprofit clients like Senior Citizens Inc., municipal projects like the Tabiala Marine Science Center, or professional firms like Bowen Falligan. They all play a vital role in helping move Savannah forward, and we're proud to be associated with each other. Well, I'm not sure I'm qualified to give anybody advice, but I'd say there's two lessons that have served us well. First, luck is a dividend of sweat. The more you sweat, the luckier you get. And that's from Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. Secondly, I'd say that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so listen more than you talk.
Hi, I'm Geneva West, one of this year's 40 Under 40 for Georgia Trends magazine. When I found out that I was selected for Georgia Trends magazine for their 40 Under 40 this year, I felt extremely humbled. For the work that I have been doing at engaging girls, underrepresented girls in STEM in the Middle Georgia area, and just being recognized for it was awesome. And especially from an award-winning magazine like Georgia Trend that prides itself off being able to recognize people like me and you doing great work in the community. And even our mayor, Keisha Lance Bottom. So I was really excited about that I can just pull that from my desk and see it. It was very inspiring, and I'm indeed very honored. My greatest career goal. So as a single mother, being able to reduce the cycle of generational poverty and successfully being able to start a STEM and mentoring program that would not only benefit my 2 daughters, but the additional 3,000 underrepresented minority girls that we've served thus far, to help close the gender gap in STEM, all while maintaining a career as a Deputy Acquisition Program Manager for Robins Air Force Base. That's a mouthful, but it's quite rewarding. My greatest community service accomplishment had to be starting Real Impact. But after being around since 2017, 7 years, this year we've had our first high school graduate from our program who has had the opportunity to pipeline to a pre-college STEM program at the Fort Valley State University, where I am an alum. So I'm very excited about that. So we've taken girls from 3rd grade to 8th grade, and then they're able to be in this program and pipeline to a pre-college STEM program. And we've now successfully been able to see one of our girls graduate who've actually participated in our program. So that is indeed a success. Thank you for the honor. I greatly appreciate it.
When I learned I was one of Georgia Trend's 40 Under 40, I was ecstatic and very honored. It is definitely one of the biggest achievements in my life. I honestly was not even aware that I had been nominated, and it's just nice to know that all the hard work I've put in over the years has come to fruition, and an award like this just gives me the unwavering support to keep on persevering. My greatest accomplishment would involve me being named one of 9 Fulbright scholars in 2016 going to Switzerland, and the only one of that cohort that was studying and conducting Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease research at the Brain and Mind Institute at EPFL. It was a huge honor because my undergraduate university, Georgia Tech, had to nominate me from the student body before the interview process had even began. This prestigious fellowship is world-renowned, and the experiences and friendships that I made from that 1 year, I will never forget. I try to give back as much as I can to the community, with most efforts going towards helping underserved communities through volunteering at nonprofits like MedShare, where I've helped package thousands of medical supplies for countries in need all over the world. However, my most memorable and impactful experience, I would have to say, would be when I went on a medical mission trip to the Dominican Republic through Service for Peace. A group of us volunteered at a pediatric hospital for a week and really got to immerse ourselves with the people, their culture, and really just help the community in many ways, even outside the realm of medical care. In terms of offering advice to others, I would say be willing to step out of your comfort zone in order to really improve your skill sets, network, improve upon yourself as a person overall, set up small goals, try to always learn something new every day, and never be afraid to fail. These few things, alongside a hardworking mentality, will go a long way to earning a successful career.
Thank you for watching the Georgia Trends 40 Under 40 event. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Mercer University, and the honorees for providing such uplifting and inspiring messages to give us hope for a better and brighter future for Georgia. I'm Ben Young, publisher and editor-in-chief, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.